Hi, my name is Eric Kingsbury, and I'm in the graduate certificate program at the University of Houston in the Foresight program. And I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona, though I grew up in Illinois and Indiana in the Midwest in the farm country primarily. I went to my undergraduate school was Illinois State University in Bloomington-Normal, Illinois, and there I studied English and philosophy. So that's my initial education. My early career aspirations were to do music, so I spent the early part of my adulthood playing music professionally, and that sort of segged a little bit into my professional career, which I began in marketing and advertising. I ended up working for the Fender Guitar Company in marketing and working with technology to a great extent there too. Eventually, that's how I ended up in Arizona. Fender's based in Scottsdale, Arizona. Um, I went on educationally and got an MBA in global business from Arizona State University. My focus there was primarily on global strategy and strategic planning, strategic processes and analysis. Subsequent to working at Fender, I've worked at PetSmart Corporate as a senior marketing leader, and also at eBay, at a division of eBay that does sort of online advertising technologies. I currently work for Experian, which you probably know as the credit reporting agency, but I work in fraud and identity software. So what we do is we build applications that help institutions like banks and merchants protect against fraud. So detect fraud online primarily and prevent it. So it's a pretty interesting space. I do product strategy, product marketing. I'm really heavy in a strategic planning process for the next fiscal year right now. So I see this work with the futures as being very relevant to my career, which I really want to continue to develop in a what we call a deep strategy direction at Experian. Um, I've also been a very avid fan of science fiction and also futurist writers. I've been involved for several years with the World Future Society, so I organize the Arizona chapter of the World Future Society. And primarily what we do there is we have a monthly meeting, and we also have monthly socials. At our monthly meeting, which is a little more formal, we have a guest speaker. In fact, our August meeting is tonight, Wednesday, August 26th, and our featured speaker is Natasha Vita Moore from, um, you might know from Humanity Plus. She has written a lot and been a pioneer in transhumanism. So she'll be speaking to our group. We have a lot of fun. It's a very broad group, and it's a really fun thing to lead. And additionally, I've been involved with through my through Arizona State University, where I did my MBA. I've been involved with what's an institution there called the Center for Science and Imagination, and what they do, they're sort of futures oriented. They put together artists, primarily science fiction writers, actually, with engineers to work on projects. They do an annual futurist festival kind of thing, which was in March, and so I participated with that the last couple years, and this past March had a pretty interesting exhibit. Also, I blog on the future. I have a futurist blog at kiteba.com. That's kiteba.com. You can read about what I did at the ASU event on there, plus any other things that I think of I write about. But I'm pretty excited to be in this program. What else can I tell you about myself? I have so many interests. I almost can't keep up with them. One, I really like to travel. One way I've traveled over the years is by volunteering for archaeological expeditions. So I've done archaeology as a volunteer around the world, in Southeast Asia, in Central America, and also in the Middle East. It's a great way to travel. It's a great way to meet interesting people and to see parts of the world that um, you don't normally get to see. For instance, a couple expeditions I went on in Jordan were just outside the famous city of Petra, and we basically, lived a life of nomadism with the local Bedouins who are our guides. And as we did field archaeology, walking these long days through the desert, we learned the ways of the Bedouin, which are ancient and very different from thinking about the future, but very inspiring in a lot of ways too, and edifying. The My futurist interests primarily lie with emerging technologies. I am sort of technology biased. I think technology is at the core of the evolution of our species and also of our individual development. And I mean technology very broadly, not just information technology, but biotechnology and even social technologies and new ideas that relate to how we solve problems. And that's really the fundamental orientation I have. I'm interested not just in technologies for their own sake. I find that interesting, but I'm also interested in how they impact society. I think it's possible to have different social relations. It's possible to have new models for business, for commerce, for economics, for society, for interpersonal relationships, based on what technology allows us to do. And technology has a tremendous power. It has a power for good outcomes and for not so good outcomes. And if you follow the futurist press at all, you'll know that there is a good contingent of very well-placed people who have been talking about existential risk and artificial intelligence as being this potential threat that we need to manage for our own survival, for the survival of the species. So they're interesting issues, a lot of ethics involved there, but there's a lot of opportunity if you think about the potential. Okay, this is a very long video, I apologize, but thanks for letting me ramble. It's a pleasure to meet everyone, and I look forward to the program. Take it easy.